What's up, boys? In this video, I'm basically gonna teach you how to become a quote unquote genius, or seem like a genius, especially when you're surrounded with people who aren't as smart as you, or um, might as well seem like a genius, especially if you're trying to build an audience or like mass influence, so you have the credibility behind to back it up, right? So one of the best ways to actually become a quote unquote genius is literally just reading more books and as much as possible. When you are reading a book, the best possible thing you can do is read a non-fiction book. Me personally, I read a lot of non-fiction because what is a book technically, right? That is years of experience that like they had to learn through hard labor and stuff like that. And all it takes is probably like a month or two for you to read it, or like maybe even less, right? If you can read it way faster. And by reading that, you basically just absorb his brain into yours. You see the perspective of his um brain towards the world, and then you just have a new perspective. And each time you read a new book, you start to see all these little patterns and how like everything is like connecting, because in generally everything connects with every other thing, right? Because we are all human. Everything ties back to humans, right? That's why I love psychology. That's why I love learning about body language, how the human mind works. Because if you can know how the human mind works, you can obviously get immense power, immense influence, and know you can like at the end of the day, if everything is like made by people, like this jacket, this jewelry, this, and like how to get people to do stuff for you, then obviously you're gonna have you can basically have anything that you want in this life. And by using these like psychology tricks and stuff like that, you can be more effective with it. That's why I genuinely love it. But I also love manifesting, because manifesting is also cool as fuck, because it helps me be more present in the moment. It helps me like manifest money. Manifest, basically manifesting is just like creating everything. Like we consciously, or we honestly don't realize that we're manifesting every single day. Especially like, I want you to imagine this, like if you're going to Walmart, right? Or you're thinking about going to Walmart, and like you go to Walmart, you basically manifested you going to Walmart just because you thought about it. We manifest every single day. We just don't understand that, like, how to consciously manifest, and that is what's hindering us, right? But that's not really the point, right? So the best way to become a genius is absorb as many books as possible, but make sure it's something that you generally um enjoy, right? Or or you can just put all your attention in this one thing, okay? It just depends where you spend all your attention, right? Because my friend, he's like really into like fashion, really into like making clothes and stuff like that, right? He has a lot of knowledge in that area. So for me, who spent all my time and all my attention on like reading about psychology and stuff like that, I'm obviously not going to understand or see all the patterns that he sees, right? So it makes him unique in his own way, right? Me personally, I just have all these things that combine together and they connect, and by doing so, it's kind of like my purpose in life, right? Like it's just like what I'm naturally inclined to, and I see the universal laws, or like the patterns, right? The only way you're going to see these patterns and like have like your unique solution to every single problem is literally just by putting all your attention into this one field, or like get as many different perspectives, or like try and like expand on what you generally want to read, right? If you generally want to read like let's say like a fiction book, right? Like maybe like manga, anime, or any of the sorts like that. You can literally watch the anime first of all, and then read the books. Obviously, you get different POVs, you learn different lessons from those books, and then you can get really good at storytelling. And if you get really good at storytelling, you can make a shit ton of money from it, right? You can literally make money off of anything nowadays, as long as you are confident enough to talk about it and you actually provide value and help people. Especially the business model that I'm doing is like, you just go on camera and you just talk and like help people for like 20 minutes or like daily, right? Any advice I can give you that can get you ahead of the pack, especially when it comes to money, girls, finances, or anything like that, right? So absorb as many books as you can, because each book, I want you to imagine it as like a different person's mind or body or experience in life, right? It took them years for them to learn that, for them to put that in that book, right? And you can read it within a week, a month, or any of those sorts like that. absorb all that information, and by doing though that you can see the world in a different POV, and by seeing the world through a different POV, you can combine them, right? You can mix them together, because now you have like two different worlds in your one mind. If you have a third book, oh shit, another one, another one, another one, another one. Genius right there. You're basically a genius. You just see all the patterns and how everything connects, and how like it can provide value to anyone else. Okay. So that's probably one of the best effective ways to become a genius. Also, being in the present moment, you have infinite intelligence. Why is that? Because you're not in your mind thinking of some BS from the past, because you're traumatized. You're holding all this tension into your neck or your back or literally your legs, like your freaking hips right here. You're not supposed to feel like any pain while you're sitting down, right? It's crazy how much tension we're holding. But that's not really the point. The point is to like relax your body. If you relax your body, you're gonna be more out of your head. And when you're more out of your head and like back into the present moment, right? The most effective way I could probably do this is literally just meditating every single day. If you are struggling with meditating, go to sleep and wake up. Like right when you wake up, 5-10 minutes, meditate, maybe 20. I used to wake up every single morning, meditate 20 minutes. Now I might do it like 10, maybe 30 minutes. It just depends what I'm feeling like, right? Especially if like I have time to do it before I go to work. Cause like now I just go to sleep at like maybe like 8 in the morning or like 5 in the morning or some shit. Wake up at like 12, and then I immediately have to freaking shower and then get out the house so I can make it to work on time. So bring your presence back to the present moment. If you don't know what meditating is, and like you need a simple, very, very simplified version of it, literally put your focus on your breath. Close your eyes. You're gonna have a thought when you're thinking, and you notice that you're thinking. Just bring it back to your breath. Don't judge it. Don't react to it, right? Because the only reason you're stuck in this victim mentality is because you react to every little thing that your mind is telling you. Realize that your thoughts are BS, right? You eventually you get to a point where like your thoughts are literally BS. You have an ego death, and then you can manifest the life that you generally want. But the only reason I tell you what's it called, the present moment is infinite intelligence, because you're making the best possible decision. You can think so far ahead, because we are constantly manifesting the life. Like the future is now. Like we're always are building the future right now. I can't go back 5 minutes ahead when I was talking about how you can reading and how it's going to help you, right? So the best possible thing you can possibly do is just like keep on bringing your attention back to the present moment, and eventually you will clear your mind, and from there you can like make an identity switch or do any of the sorts like that, right? Another tip that I can give you is just get experience, right? Just go out of your way and try and master a subject, right? Choose one area that you generally want to master. By mastering one thing, right? Let's say I wanted to master the guitar or the piano. The piano is probably way better. Because what's his name? I forgot his name, but that deaf guy who played the piano and like bit on the thing so he can hear what he was playing, and he was like really good. He was a master at his craft, and he made millions from doing so, or not millions, but like he got super famous and like he was well known, right? Leonardo da Vinci actually became really famous because he spent so much time on his craft. He tried to perfect it, right? Especially like with the shading when it came to rocks and stuff like that. He would literally change his perspective on every little outcome. You could also do the same thing when it comes to problems. There is never only one solution to one problem, right? There's always multiple different solutions, and by using your creativity, your imagination, you can actually create all these new solutions to old problems. And by doing that, you're going to get so much value. You're giving so much value, and then you're eventually gonna be able to get paid for it, and then like you're a genius after you make it, right? So understand that you need to like learn as much as you can, especially if it's like what your heart is telling you. You need to understand where you want to go in this life, what you want to learn, figure out what you are more inclined to, right? If I like me personally, I'm not into like cooking or any of the sorts like that. So if you are into like cooking books, or like if you're more attracted to like this type of genre or this type of stuff, literally just read what you want and do what you want, and then you are aligning with your mind and body, and by doing so you will eventually just find your way. Like trust me, like you just gotta have some trust in, well, not just me, but like in yourself, that you will find it. Okay, I didn't have much trust in like finding this stuff, but like generally, like I just love talking about, influencing people, power, manifesting, business, on how like psychology and stuff like that. That's basically what I'm doing. That's basically like I created my own niche, right? And eventually you'll have like all these different interests, and then you're gonna see how they all connect with one another, right? So let's say like I'm really good at track, right? I'm really interested in track or something like that. One way I could get better at track is literally just deep breathing and like using visualizations, manifesting tactics to get better, to motivate me to actually, push a little harder. I remember one time, it was like during my sophomore year. Okay, I was joining track. I was running the 400. This is my first time ever running the 400. I was naturally good at running the 400 because like I'm naturally like good, better at longer distances, but like not too far. But like I'm also like built for sprinting and stuff like that. So what happened was, what was it? Oh yeah. So I got this like really good advice. You could probably use this, especially if you're like joining track or you're gonna run the 400 yourself. I got this advice from my friend Jacob. He literally gave me he just told me like focus all your attention on the person in front of you and just tell yourself over and over again that you can beat him. I can beat him. I can beat him. I can beat him. I can beat him. And I tried that, and it was like the last race of the season, like for JV. Like I was JV. I was in varsity. I'm not that big of a Chad, right? Like I was gonna hit varsity my senior year, but then I kind of fell off of like the love of track and stuff like that. But that's just some Zach lore right there. But what I'm getting at is like I was very anxious. I was like, holy fuck, like it's now or never. Like it's my time to shine. So some of that anxiety helped me with it. I was very anxious. Like my heart was beating through my chest. Everyone was like shitting themselves, like shitting their pants. Like they're so nervous. It's kind of like right before you're going onto a roller coaster, right? Like you're thinking like, oh shit, we're gonna be like thousands of feet in the air, or like we're just overthinking about the roller coaster, but stuff like that, right? So I'm like the last leg. It's for the 4x4. I'm the last leg. So this guy gets the baton before me, right? He gets it. He's running. He's like 50-meter mark. I finally get my baton. I'm in second place. And all I can think was like, I can beat him. I can beat him. I can beat him over and over again. By doing that over and over again, you just repeat it to yourself. You basically are, right? He's in front of me. I was tunnel vision. Like every little energy, like I could not focus on anything else. Everybody was cheering. That shit was faded. Like I could not hear anything. But I just kept on telling myself over and over again. I was like locked in, and eventually, like, it was like the last 100 meters. I don't know how I did it. Like I just had extra energy, and I finally beat him, and it felt so amazing because all the other track meets like beforehand was like I fumbled so bad. Like I'm telling you, I fumbled so freaking bad. Like oh my gosh, like 3 different times. It's crazy. But anyways, you can use that. Basically in that story I was using a visualizing technique to help me manifest the win, right? I visualized like right before the race, I visualized that medal before, like on my bed, right? So you could also live at the end and like expect stuff like that. That's just manifesting right there. That's just like advice for manifesting. But like everything correlates with one another. I was really good at track. I love track. Manifesting came into it. Psychology played into it because all these people were scared of you know, they were fearful, right? And they're all getting anxious, especially like for running. Like me just thinking about it right now, I'm manifesting like anxiety before because like it was so freaking bad. Like I'm telling you, like I was shaking type shit. And yeah, that it just felt really nice. So focus on what you're naturally inclined to. Do not go read a freaking cooking book if you're not interested in cooking, right? Find out what you want, and by understanding yourself and like going, like knowing where you want to go, like trusting yourself, you will 10x you being a genius, right? Because we all have our natural inclinations, right? It's just naturally what we're born to, and like what we naturally uh, like go towards, right? So for me, again, it was like psychology, manifesting, business, YouTube, stuff like that. So I can combine all those, and you basically create your own niche, right? Nobody can see what you see. You see the patterns, you can give your advice, and you basically seem like the genius. You're basically a genius now, right? So the timeline is you figure out what you want to read, right? I personally didn't know what I wanted to read. I just got lucky. I wanted to learn how, like psychology and stuff like that. So I grabbed The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. It teaches you how to seduce, it teaches you how to, influence people. You can basically make a shit ton of money just from reading a book and giving the value out, like selling courses of what you learned in the book. That's basically how you can make a shit ton of money, because a lot of people are naturally lazy. And I learned that from, the psychology books. People are naturally lazy. So if you can do a lot of work for them, like a lot of people don't want to read a book like that. It took me like a week and like a couple months. I kind of reread it over and over again because I was naturally inclined to it. But people don't want to read it over and over again for them to understand it. So my job in this scenario is to read it, understand it, and then put it in ways to give you examples in the real life scenario that you can understand it, and I provide value to you, right? I'm gonna be selling courses. Is literally called The Art of Seduction. If you are struggling with influence over people or any of the sorts like that, literally just do that. And after The Art of Seduction, I am going to move to power, literally on how you can gain power and absorb power. And they kind of intertwine with one another, because you're obviously going to have power if you have influence over people, but the seduction part is going to like seduce like a following and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that if you are interested, or any of the sorts like that. Obviously I'm going to charge you money, because like I'm not going to just give you like all this stuff for free, right? Like especially if it's like top tier ball knowledge, right? Like, it took me years to learn this shit. But basically, you just got to figure out where your attention is. What are you putting most your thoughts in about the day, right? When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of video games. I used to watch a lot of YouTube. So I'm more inclined to YouTube. That's why I'm doing YouTube right now. So just, you have all these interests that you are naturally born with, naturally inclined to. Then you have to see the connections and see the patterns, okay? Once you see those patterns, you basically are a genius right there. You just talk about it, you find new problems to old no new solutions to old problems, and by doing so you provide value, get money, and wow, you're a genius. Congratulations, you're welcome. But one of the best ways you could probably do this is literally relaxing your body. By relaxing your body, literally you're gonna understand yourself more. You're gonna like be more rational. You're gonna make the better decisions automatically. you know it took me a while to find my purpose in life, Loki. It's just generally what you want to talk about, right? If you think it's interesting, other people are gonna find it interesting too. Not everybody's gonna find it interesting, but the people, and like you attract your audience, right? That's basically how like becoming a YouTuber is, right? You just keep on making videos, be authentic, don't be a fucking robot, show emotions, do this and do that, give genuine advice, and people will show up over and over again just to eat up all your advice that you are providing to them. And eventually they become loyal. They will defend you in a battle. They will literally follow you to the ends of the earth, especially if you can connect that connection through like a screen or anything like that, right? You can see it in music, right? Music, it um what is it? It manifests these emotions into us, and then it's also playing a story into it, right? We are like, when you naturally listen to music, you naturally have like this visualization of like what the story is going on, because every song is playing a story. And like you can just have a mental image, and like you're manifesting that good loving emotion, especially if you're listening to loving songs, or like that anger aggression that you are feeling, especially like you're trying to get past like a really hard workout or any things like that, right? But it just plays on your emotions, and by doing so you connect with the artist. That's how I was able to connect with Travis Scott, and that's why I fucking love him, and I'm willing to follow him to the ends of the death, just like Kanye West. And I can't. Oh, maybe Yeet too. Yeet Loki motivated me to, breathe more, relax, and understand myself a lot more. Because like his ego, most of his music is basically about his ego, right? On how like to kill your ego. He's not worth it. Like the scarcity, you need to relax, stop reacting to every little thing, because if you react to every little thing, you give so many people so much power from it. And like you see how like I'm kind of hitting flow with it, right? I just keep on talking, I keep on yapping. I don't even have to think about what's going on right now. Like I'm not even thinking of it. I'm so present in the moment, like I'm not even thinking right now. I'm just going with the flow and going with whatever comes out my mouth, basically. Okay. And eventually, if you can hit this flow long enough, first of all, you're gonna feel way better. You're gonna be more relaxed. You're gonna, be way more happy. You're gonna get like this little high, especially if you have like the attention span to like talk and yap on screen for like a very long time. I'm telling you, this is gonna make you millions. But if you can, get really good at telling stories, right? You can't really be the genius if you can't really tell stories. So again, reading the book, understanding how stories are made, one of the best tips I could probably give for telling story is adding details, as much detail as you can, not too much detail, but like enough detail for them to have like this like 5 second image, right? Let's say I wanted to like tell a story about how like I got hit in the head with a pickaxe, right? So what I would do, I would lay out the setting or like the background, right? So I would start off with something like um so when I was younger, like I used to hop the fence and go to like this elementary school, and one day I was with my friend Zane, and by doing that, we were just swinging on the swings, and then we got the bright idea of like digging a really big hole, because like those rocks, like those pebbles, right? You like dig a hole, and like we were just naturally kids, like we were just dumb, right? We reached the bottom and we are like, damn, we want to go further down. So by doing that, we literally hopped over the fence. We went to his backyard. His backyard had crazy like junk, right? I think they were hoarders or something like that. But what we did was we got a pickaxe, we got some shovels, and then his mom said it was okay for us to dig a hole in the park. She did not know, in fact, about us bringing the pickaxe or the shovels to the park and stuff like that. But yeah, so eventually we get there, we're digging it, and then when we get a little bit further, we make progress with it, and then I go down, and when I go down with it, he swings at the same time. So like my head is down, he swings, and then it freaking like scrapes my head. Okay, you can probably see it. Like there's two lines in my head. It was one swing, but I got like two lines from it. It's crazy. So I start to naturally panic because like blood is dripping from my head, right? That shit's scary. Like anybody would fucking run from that. I'm running down the street, and then eventually I just get the idea like, holy shit, if I'm running right now, my blood is gonna keep on flowing a lot more. So might as well like try and relax and calm down. So I reached the stop sign because like his house was like a block away, right? So I'm walking down the street, and as I'm walking down the street, I see my freaking first of all, my friends are out on the street playing. Like there's two of them, they were my childhood friends or no, there's three of them. My friend Julian at the time literally asked me, Zach, are you okay? I didn't say anything. I'm just like, you could probably imagine this, right? I'm a fucking kid with like literally dripping blood from my head to the floor. Like it was literally getting on the concrete type shit. And these fucking construction workers are working on the road because like, they were like naturally just trying to like improve the road because like, I think it was like potholes or something. I don't really remember, but they were just looking at me. They didn't say anything. The only people who said something was like my friends, and I just walked by like nothing happened. And Zane had like this porch where, like, it's kind of like a raised above, so you have to like have some steps and stuff like that. So you just see this kid walking, saying nothing. He just walked by, dripping blood from his head. You don't know if it's fake or not. And then he hops up like nothing's going on. He knocks on the door, and then his Zane's mom, like I literally knock on the door. I'm like, hey, can I get my phone? I need to call my mom and take me to a hospital. I'm bleeding. She looks at my head, and then she panics, and then I naturally panic because like I'm a fucking kid, right? Like if I see a grown adult, like someone with authority panicking, then like automatically like I should be panicking too. Even though I was completely fine and relaxed before I opened the door. But like she's calling my mom, and like you can hear my mom over the phone. She's like, what? Okay, I'm on my way. Not even 5 minutes later, because like I live like right down the street, like maybe like 2 blocks away. Like I'm talking like right down the street. All you hear is like, and then like my mom just pulls up. She's like, hop in. I can't believe you're doing this. Like, like she's yelling at me because like she's worried about me because like she obviously loves me. She's like, I can't believe you're doing this dumb shit. Like, why? How could you even do that? And then I left my phone at freaking Zane's house, like knowing whatever. I hop in the car. She's yelling at me. She's panicking. And then my friends are outside, like they're skirting. I'm still bleeding from my head. And it's just like a crazy, it's just crazy. I think it's funny now, obviously, but stuff like she literally left like tire marks on the road because like she was like, we gotta go, like she went to mama bear mode or some shit. Eventually, like we're driving to the thing, she's like, why would you do something so stupid? Like how, like what was going on? What's the story? What's this, what that? And then basically like she would like yell at me or like get mad at me because you know, like I got hurt. Like she cares about me. She loves me. Like I understand it now, but like when I was younger, it's kind of like traumatizing, right? But we get to the hospital and I'm just bleeding from my head and like we just sit down. I don't remember like sitting in the waiting room that much because like I think we just like went straight back. But they took my blood pressure. They were doing this, doing that. I think I wasn't bleeding as much when we got to the hospital, but I remember, you know, like the little pain scale that they have, like where it's like 1 to 5 or like 1 to 10 or something. And like they have like the emojis, right? This lady asked me if I would like what type of pain I was feeling, and I wasn't really feeling that much pain because like I naturally grew up like with aggression, like I was naturally like angry, right? When I was growing up, like I naturally had like some anger, like I had anger issues, right? Like now I'm just chill as fuck. But like I was able to I had like a high pain tolerance. So like when I was talking to her, like she asked me what I was feeling. I was probably feeling like maybe like 2 or 3. Like the only reason oh wait, hold on. Before that I was crying because I was thinking that like I was gonna end up like my dog Hercules because we had to put him down and like D'Artagnan, and I was like crying about it. I was like, shit, I don't want to die, you know, like I don't want to end up like them. And that was like my only form of like, you know, death at the time because I was like very young. I think I was like 11, you know, maybe 8 or anything. I was still in elementary school. So that scared the shit out of me. So like then we go to the you know, the emotion thing, and then she asked me how I'm feeling. I say like 2 because like, you know, I was crying, but like it didn't hurt that much because I had a high pain tolerance. And then this nurse had the audacity to say, well, you're crying right now, so I think it's a 5 on the pain scale. I'm like, bro, you don't know who I am. Well, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm experiencing right now. The only reason I'm crying is because it's like psychological, like I thought I was gonna die or some shit. But eventually I literally just had to get staples in my head for like I think a couple months, and now I went to school. I was like hard head or some shit, I forgot. But I just had staples in my head, and that's about it. Like I went home, went to go get my phone. I couldn't be friends with Zane after that. He kind of became my enemy. That's some more lore later on if y'all are interested. But yeah, but like that's kind of how like you tell a story, right? You just keep on adding details and like stuff like that. So the best way I could probably get you to like get more comfortable socializing, especially if you like struggle with like talking to people or like having like the mind and body connection. Like right now, when I was younger, I remember I used to struggle with you know, I used to think before what I had to say, right? Now I just say whatever comes to mind. I don't really have to think of much. I just say whatever because like I don't overthink every little thing, right? So the you have to get to the point where you're not overthinking every little thing. So the best and fastest way you can really get better at telling story, first of all, because like it's a story in its own, um, also like is also going to help you with your mind and body connection, especially when you like struggle. If you're someone who struggles with something like that, like I know that sounds so specific, but that's something that I generally struggled with growing up. Like I was so shy I could not say what was on my mind, and by doing so it caused me to have my neck so like my neck so tense and like my jaw tense too. So the best thing you could possibly do is literally just read a book, but read it out loud. Go outside, go be out in nature, read the book. I used to read books out in trees. I used to literally just go outside, be on the bench, or like go chill on my trampoline. Just go read a book, be alone, and have your alone time. It's really beneficial to have your alone time. Don't always be distracted by every single body. And you can't really become a genius if you have a really short attention span, right? If you are constantly scrolling on social media, you're just constantly like depleting your attention span over and over again. So the best thing you could possibly do is literally just what's it called? Just like don't be around people. Like don't go if you're trying to do like some deep work or you're trying to study or any of the stuff like that. You're not going to absorb the information if you're like surrounded by a lot of people, especially like in cafes. If you go to a cafe to work, you're obviously your work is not going to be like the 10 out of 10 best like you expect, right? So put all your attention, be hard to distract, you know, don't have all these people coming in and out of your room or any of the stuff like that. Be kind of hard to distract, and you increase your attention span. When once you increase your attention span, then you will eventually understand. You know, reading the book obviously is going to increase your attention span. Do not have your phone on you, especially if you're reading books or any of the sorts like that. Put your phone away. Put it away. No, no, no. Go. It's gone. It's gone. Put it in the other room. Put it somewhere where it's hard to reach. Okay. And then you're gonna be more inclined to actually hit flow and understand that you can only hold one image in your mind, and you can have your fucking ego death or whatever you want. Okay. So again, if you are struggling with like mind and body connection with speaking and stuff like that, get a book, read it out loud, and hit flow state while reading. And then eventually, the more often you do it, the better you'll get at telling stories and um, helping people like that, right? Because you have the information, you just gotta give that information strategically. You can also use like body language and stuff. Like if like body language plays like a crucial part, okay? But basically, what I'm getting at is just, see the patterns, make the connections, talk about what you want to talk about. And by doing so, you will seem like a genius or very more intellectual than all of these other people. Get really good at storytelling because you can't really convey information like that, right? You can't really convey information if you aren't really good at telling stories. The only way we learn is literally by telling stories. That's why every story or every book has some form of a story in it, right? They tell a story and then they give you the lesson or the information that you need to provide for it. Okay. Best possible thing. Now, bam, you're a fucking genius. Congratulations. Now you can go out and live the life that you want, especially if you want to get rich, build the business you want, and do anything you want with your life. Okay. Congratulations. You are now free. And anyways, if this video helped you, like and subscribe, share, do whatever you want. I don't care, as long as this video somewhat helped you, or maybe, I don't know. I'm just doing this for y'all. I don't really care. Anyways, I love y'all. Y'all have a great night, great morning, great anything. Anyways, bye.